Shall we go for it? Oh, I could do with a big, I'd love one of those big fat crystal ones, they're massive. Oh, check out the resonance. Hey, you can have a variety of them, like tuning forks, aren't they? So let's lay on our back then. Let's get ourselves nice and comfortable and check in with our body. So, really important that because we're going to practice some more somatic awareness of our body and really get ourselves in, I want you to really think about what you're, I'll say hello because I keep looking at the camera, what you're sensing, what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, going into the stretch, noticing the sensations, what you're experiencing, and that is a present moment thing, and it's a curious, mindful exploration without judgment, without looking for reasons why, like, oh, what's going on here in the hip? So just see it as a kind of experiment, a scientific experiment of curiosity, okay? But we are going to check in with the body anyway, so let's do that. So lie down, knees bent if your lower back feels tight, and you can always take your feet to the edge of the mat and allow your knees to drop in. So we're going to bring the spotlight of attention into some of our koshas, koshas. They have, you've got your physical body and your heart body and your wisdom body and things like that, but we're just going to stick with just, So if you want to place your hand on your belly or whatever, place your hand on your heart centre. Okay, and then close your eyes or a soft gaze to whatever you can attend to. That gives you that sense of orientation, so you know where you are in time and space, and it makes you feel safe. So when you're practicing any kind of mindfulness with your eyes open, you feel safe because you know where you are, because your body's always scoping for danger. Will Robinson. Okay, so as you lay on your back, move your attention through your body. Okay, and then just sense areas that call to you, whether you feel comfort or you feel a sensation. And just start with the head and just slowly lower in your own time all the way down towards your feet. And just go through each body part. We're just having a snapshot, we're not looking for reasons why we are feeling what we're feeling. And then check in with your quality of thought. Again, a snapshot. Connect with your heart centre and just kind of sense how are you on an emotional level. And then check in with the quality of your breathing. So if it's short, shallow and fast, place your hand on your abdomen. Imagine there's a balloon behind your belly button. And feel the expansion and contraction of the natural breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Keep it nice and smooth. Making that the background to your practice today. And let's set an intention for our practice. It's individual to you. It's what you want for your well-being, okay? What you want in terms of your own well-being right here, right now. So what do you want to seek out of this practice? So it might be something based on your body scan or your mind or your emotional sense of self. So if you're feeling agitated, you might want to say in a short positive statement beginning with I am calm, because it's already happening. Rewire your brain, neuroplasticity. Lovely. And then when you've set that aside, just give thanks for that and just let that go. And then let's move into our practice. So what we're going to do, is we're going to start with a gentle somatic practice. So we're going to start with the standing. Yes. So come to the front of your mat. Okay. Wherever feels comfortable for you. I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see me. And we're going to do a very, very gentle somatic practice. Now, if you're going to feel dizzy, I will keep your eyes open. Okay. I'm going to keep my eyes open anyway because I want to engage with you. Okay. It's important that I engage with my audience, but you can have a soft gaze towards the floor if you feel comfortable. because you notice me in your eye line, or you can just close your eyes. Okay. And I just want you to imagine as you're standing here with your feet slightly apart, so you've got that stability, hip distance apart. I just want you to imagine, okay, that you are like seaweed in the sea. And I want you to imagine that you're gently swaying. And I just want you to focus on the sensations in your feet. And just notice. Or perhaps you can imagine that you're a tree gently swaying. Just imagine that. And if you are, slightly just gently sway from left to right and feel the difference between the pressure in the left and the right foot. So we're working on that somatic attention of present moment attention. This is sort of body work that we do with working with well-being of the mind. And then just pause. And then imagine that just make a small movement in your head. And imagine that your breath is riding up and down the vertebrae in your neck. And just gently, just rock or sway your head from side to side. Keep that visualization that you are like a tree or seaweed underwater. And I just want you to focus on the subtle shifts and changes that's going on all the way through your body as you sense that rocking and swaying from side to side, as you make that subtle shift of the neck. And imagine that your breath is in your vertebrae, in your neck, in your cervical spine. I just want you to keep focusing on that gentle shift from side to side. And allow the breath to move and travel into the areas that we're working with. And then slowly allow yourself to relax completely and let go and don't move anymore. And then track how your breath changes as you move your awareness down to your shoulders. And just make some small movements. Notice with curiosity how the chest moves as you make some gentle movements with your shoulders. Keeping that visualization of that gentle swaying tree or seaweed underwater. Feel the shifts of the body. Notice the changes in the breath. Keep tracking the changes of the breath with each movement. And if you can, try and follow in how your exhale goes as your shoulders move. Maybe you might want to shift your shoulders up and down from side to side. As you inhale and exhale, just notice the subtle breath changes. And then just stay with that for a couple of seconds, and then just pause and notice what happens when you stop moving, what relaxation arises. And then allow your breath to subtly move down to your belly and down into the back of the spine, and imagine that it's travelling your breath up and down, and then see if you can make a little bit of movement with the spine and the abdomen. And just feel each vertebrae as it moves slightly, checking in with the subtle micro movements in the back. Maybe slightly shifting the belly backwards and forwards, or sort of slightly swaying or circulating. And just notice and check that subtleness. Just experiment with adjusting between small and large movements. And then just pause and drop any effort and completely relax the body, and just notice subtly how that breath has changed. And then feel the awareness as you start to subtly move the pelvic area and the upper legs. Just pay attention to where the movements go. And allow the breath to be slow as well. Just indulge a little bit in how you want to move in your own way and in your own fashion. What does it feel like? Where do you feel that sensation? Subtle shifts in the feet. And going backwards and forwards and sideways. Can you feel that sway again? That gentle sway, pretending you're seaweed underwater. And pay attention. Just notice where you go. Allow the breath to be slow as well. And then indulge in any tiny movements in the whole body now. You might want to move any feet Do you want to move your feet a little bit? Do you want to move your arms and your hands? Do you want to sway them around and just feel that gentle sway happening? Just experience the sensations. You might want to make them really let the whole body go. Track what's happening, track your body. And then completely pause and come back to your body, come back to your breath, come back to your mental states, come back to the sense and awareness, come back to stillness and see if you can notice the difference. So these subtle shifts, so I want you to really keep a sense awareness now inside and constantly dropping down to the body. And I want you to keep this swaying, gentle movement throughout the practice with the sensory awareness of what's going on. So with that in mind, feet hip distance apart, thumbs on your hip crease, take your hips back and bend your knees as far as you can, and we're going to come into ragdoll. Okay, and place your belly, bend your knees as much as you can to place your belly on your thighs. And I want you to do the same, grab your elbows and do the same kind of gentle swaying movement. Just move into the stretch and just notice how movement shifts the pressure in the bottom of the feet. And feel how the sway moves the tension into the side of the hips. Moving into the tension into the hamstrings. Can you notice a slight amount of gripping if you go backwards and forwards? The way that your toes push back and your heels push you forward. Are you gripping in your glutes, for example? And just really feel that, and just let your hands go really floppy and just go really, really soft. And then we're just going to come into tabletop, bring our knees down and do the same. But we're going to do a nice kind of tabletop sort of sway movement, okay? Nice sway movement from side to side. And I just want you to notice the subtle shifts backwards and forwards into the knees and the hands, and just swaying, and see if you can just circle your hips a little bit. So we're just keeping this movement going. And then bring your feet forward back again. So we're going to come back into that forward fold, into ragdoll. Feet parallel like train tracks. And again, grab opposite elbow, tilt your tailbone up to the ceiling, head heavy, and just a little bit of sway movement, and notice as you move into the stretch into the hamstrings. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a movement where we're going to really sort of unfurl. Okay, I'm just going to pull myself back so I realise that the camera is moving out of range. So what we're going to do with this transition is we're going to do some unfurling. So we're going to use more somatic awareness here. So I want you to press your feet into the floor, and I want you to roll one vertebrae at a time as you're rolling up. Press your feet into the floor and really, 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 really rolling up. And use this unfurling on the inhale, and then rolling your shoulders back. And I want you to press and really feel the power in your legs and roll your shoulders back. And then I want you to collapse as if you're like a big, like a sandbag that's really wet and heavy, and just really collapse forward. Really, really, really collapse and just get really, really heavy and just completely floppy, and just focus on sensation. If you want to really interiorise this and be more somatic, focus on the internal states. If you feel confident and you don't feel dizzy and you feel as though you fall over, you can do it with your eyes closed. So remember, as you're coming up, inhale, really feel the power in your legs, feel the pressing as your feet going down, so rooting to rise. And then exhale, all like you're letting the air out of a balloon, and just let it all go. Completely go. Floppy, 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 and just completely relaxed until you're like a dead weight. And then press on the inhale, press, press. Squeeze the muscles in your thighs, squeeze the muscles in your calves. Really feel that difference between tension and release, and just get really, really somatic. Really feel that sensation. Focusing on your sensation gets you out of your head into your body. Remember, our body holds our emotions, our pain, our suffering. It's much easier to work with the body somatically. It's a much more gentle, safer way. Okay, there are some things called somatic psychotherapists They do both. They work with your mind through counselling and through this physical body work. So press into the floor, squeeze your muscles and your thighs for that strength and lift. Grounding, 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 grounding. One last time, heavy floppy, heavy floppy. As if somebody's just stuck a pin in you. Whew. Just go down. And then we're going to just come all the way up, really press in. And then we're going to come into our mountain pose and find our strength and our stability and our power in our body. So press your big feet, big toes down. Press into the floor and the balls of your feet, and press your pinky toes and pull them back so you lift your arches. Squeeze your kneecaps up towards your hips by squeezing these thigh muscles. Lower abdomen, lift up towards your head, lengthen your spine and roll the shoulder back so you're not wearing your arms. So, call into mind the stability and strength and the equal balance of this posture. So notice where you are in space, notice where you are in time and space here, in your environment, and just feel the strength and the power of this pose, okay? You are embodying the mountain metaphor. Okay, lovely. So what we're going to do then is we're going to do some nice IT band stretches, okay? So take your right foot behind your left, okay? Grab your left wrist, alright? Oh, sorry, grab your right wrist and then bend all the way over to the right. Keep your chest lifted and don't fall. Okay, keep your chest lifted and don't fall. Okay, and then inhale to centre, place your hands on your hip crease, and we're going to come into a much more intense IT band stretch of the side hips. But I want you to really think about, with forward with a flat back, lead with your heart, and I want you to really move into the stretch. I want you to be really, really curious about what it feels like. Just notice the sensations, what you're experiencing as you stretch down. Okay, as you fold forward with a flat back, keep that chest lifted, spine long. As you fold forward and just move into that stretch, you will feel it in your outer hip. And just really feel into that sensation. Just notice exactly how you feel. And just take some nice, smooth, deep breaths. Focus on the sensations in your feet and your fingers, or wherever you placed your hands, maybe on your hips or on the floor. And then slowly roll up, press your feet into the floor and come all the way up. Nice. And then we're going to do that opposite side. Just bring your, swap the opposite leg behind you. Woo. Okay. Woo. Right. So come into your side bend. And then so I'm grabbing my right, so my left foot's behind, and I'm grabbing my right wrist, opposite wrist, and I'm bending towards the side. Keep your chest lifted. Doesn't matter which side you do it. Away. Fold. And then very, very slowly come back to centre on the inhale. Hands on your hip crease. Again, we're moving into the stretch. Just notice how you feel. You can keep your hands on your hips, keep your chest lifted, or you can take your fingertips to the floor. Just really notice what it feels like. Notice where you feel the stretch and the sensation. Just keep feeling really somatic about this. Okay? So you get that in the outer hip. In this fold. Good for cycling, good for cyclists and runners, this one. But good for good hip health as well, because it helps if you've got dodgy knees, because it helps to work on that IT band problem. Okay, and then slowly roll up on the ear. Come with a up. Come up, I'm going to get a flat back and a nice big inhale and then release. Okay, so we're just going to come into some little bit of back bend stretches just to open up the chest a little bit. So come back to your mountain pose, re-engage your feet and your thighs and lift your core up towards you. Nice big inhale, open up your shoulders, push your hips forward, squeeze your shoulder blades together and your glutes. And then, whew, nice. Whew. So we're going to come down to the floor again. Let's come into that nice big ragdoll. Bend your knees as much as you can. Feet, hips, distance, don't allow your knees to knock. And then just come back into your ragdoll. And then just place your hands onto the floor, and we're going to come down onto our knees and get ready for cobra. So we're going to do some nice stretches to release the upper back. So we're going to try and keep some nice gentle flowing movement in the body, just to keep an awareness of sensing, and so forth. So feet to the corner of the mat. Okay, and we're going to do spider fingers. So tent your fingers like so, make a mini tent so that your fingers are parallel with your shoulders. Press your front pelvis deeply into the floor. If your legs are separated, then you can do that, and it basically lengthens your lower back. So as you press, okay, on the exhale, lift your upper body up, lift, 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 and then very, very slowly, as you can see, I'm shifting and twisting so that my elbow comes towards the floor, like so, and then inhale to centre, and then exhale, I'm bending the other elbow towards the floor as I twist towards that side, and then inhale to centre, and then slowly release and place my forehead on my hands, making a pillar. And just check in with how that feels sensation wise. Just notice the change and the difference between the stretch and release, and the little bit of strength that's needed there to push you up. So we're just going to come into Sphinx pose. So again, pressing the hips into the floor and making sure that your arms, your elbows are exactly shoulder distance apart by measuring. Elbows underneath the shoulders. Press your lower hips into the floor. Press your hip, as you press your hips into the floor, press your forearms into the floor. Push your chest through the arms and your ears away from your shoulders. So just want you to notice with curiosity any sensations going on here. Can you feel the tops of the feet, the hips and the floor, the forearms, and any sensations? And see if you can check in with your breath and keep it nice and smooth. So tuck in those lower ribs so you're not pooching out and you're not collapsing, that you're lifting and pushing your chest through, and feel that sensation there as we're pushed into a nice deep back bend. So always remember, if there's any sensation you feel uncomfortable, just take yourself out of it, okay, and relax. Always modify if necessary. Okay, so I'm just going to come all the way down and push myself into child's pose. So use your hands to gently push your hips back towards your heels, whether you've got your knees wide or together. Just come back nice and slow and just focus on how that feels, a sensation. Just press your hands in and just place your forehead on the floor and just really focus on the sensation of your shins. Just notice if you can feel that stretch and release in the lower back. We're going to get ready for downward dog, which is quite a strong pose for our Friday night relaxation class, but it's not going to be for very long, and we're just going to stretch out the hamstrings a little bit. So make sure your feet are hip distance apart and tuck your toes under. You've got wide jazz hands, and keep them as wide as you can on the mat. So you tuck your toes under, and you're going to make sure that you push your fingers down and forward. As you exhale, push your chest towards your thighs, and really dial your middle finger out slightly to open up between the shoulder blades. Make sure your knees are not knocked together, and the more you push your chest towards your thighs with your knees soft, you will find that's much easier, and you're not rounding over your wrists. Make sure that you're not pressing into the heel of the palm, and that your core is strong, and just move gently into the stretch. So see if you can slightly, just to focus on some sensations in the hamstrings, just really feel the contact and the pressure as you push your hands down and forward, and as you slightly pedal your feet up and down, and just move gently into a little bit of a sway of the hips and feeling that sensation in the hamstrings. So moving and sensing again. We're feeling the sensation and moving into that. And then when you're ready, at any point, drop your knees and come all the way down again. Nice. Back into tabletop. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to come into a low lunge. So we're going to I'm going to bring my left foot forward. It's easier for me to show it this way. And I'm going to move this knee, drop this knee directly over the front ankle. Always have your blanket ready for your knee, to pad that back knee. Okay, and use your hands to push yourself up and make sure your hip points are facing forward in that low lunge. Okay, always make sure you've got your blocks and your strap near you at all times, because we will be using them. Oh boy. So we're just going to very, very gently do a little bit of stretchy work. You can use the blocks if you want, if you need some support. So, pushing your hips forward and down. Okay, I want you to feel a subtle sensation as you gently pull the front foot back. Squeeze this back glute as you try to pull the front knee forward. And keep your shoulders over your wrist and just focus on that sensation that's going on there and the power and strength in your legs, and feel that contact with the floor. So you're working on that grounding sensation. You can place your hands at the palm centre, but then squeeze your shoulder blades together and pull your arms back a little bit in cactus arms. I sometimes like to take my arms up and just take them, just play my palms facing forward and just lift and pull my arms back a little bit, and I just get a nice stretch, and then drop my elbows down as I squeeze my shoulder blades together, and I can feel that tension, that strength going on there. Keep those lower ribs nicely tucked in. Okay, it's quite a powerful stretch this, and you get right into the hip flexors and the psoas muscle, which is fight or flight. Okay, and then we're going to release. Now, two options here because we're coming into pigeon. Okay, pigeon on your front is very sharp on the knees, so if you've got a very, 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 very bad knees, you do a pigeon on your back, which is this one. Okay, feet flexed. But if you're in this version, okay, always use your blocks for a little bit of support if you need to. But in this version, we're taking this front foot. So I'm bringing the foot across like so. Okay, and then I'm dropping my hips, which are level. You may need a block to put underneath the glute of the bent leg. So you need to keep the pelvis straight. So this back leg is straight behind me, and I'm slowly lowering my hip towards the floor. Okay, this is a deep hip opener right into the piriformis muscle. So if that hip is going wonky donkey on the deck, stick a block underneath it. Okay, and if you feel comfortable, you can do a bit of a proud pigeon like this one, or if you feel like you want to drop it into a much more relaxing stretch and you want to come in your forearms, just do what feels nice. And I like to do a little bit of a wiggle from side to side and just move into all those secret places and spaces. Just releasing the tension in the hips where we store a lot of stuff, junk. And just move on that, just notice, again with that curiosity, just notice the stretch in the hips. Just notice what it feels like, just notice the sensations, just notice the contact with your body and the floor. And just a little bit of wiggling from side to side. Again, we're keeping this kind of slow, gentle, sort of lazy, sort of seaweedy, tree, swayy motion. Okay, and when you're ready, we're going to come into deer pose. So, push yourself up, okay, and bring this back knee just behind. So what I'm trying to make is a square. This shin is square, this shin is square to the edges of the mat. And we're coming into deer pose. Now, deer pose, you might need to put something underneath your hips because it helps to tilt your spine nicely so you get a nice lift. So I'm coming into, I don't need to do deer without that like this, but deer pose is an internal external rotation of the hips, which is quite nice. Okay, so we're doing all of this on one side, then we're going to do it on the other. Now, if you want to come into some nice deep hip opening here, okay, you can take a block if you want, just to give you a little bit of that lift so you're not leaning over to the left. And then very, very gently lift that back knee and then slowly drop it down and just work on that curious exploration, the sensation in the hip. Or just keep your knee where it is, just notice how it feels. Okay. Now if you have got problems with your back, A really, really nice stretching deer pose helps to create space between the vertebrae. So you can carry on with just doing that, or keep your knee here, or interlace your fingers, flip your grip, and with an inhale, lift and lengthen so that you shine your palms up towards the ceiling, and you get and make sure your shoulders are stacked over your hip, and you get a deep, deep lengthening of the spine. It's very good if you've got herniation of the discs. Okay, and then slowly release. Fantastic. And then we're going to come into double pigeon. That means you'll need to place a block or your dictionary in front of the front shin. Slowly lean out. Oh, and place this top ankle on the leg that was behind on the block at the front. So, coming into this outer hip stretch, again, allow yourself to soften, and on the exhale, leading with your chest, move into the stretch and fold gently forward. Move into the stretch until you feel that sensation again. Focus, and the sensation should never ever be discomforting in yoga. If it is, back off. Just move into that stretch and feel. Just notice how it is. Where do you feel it the most? And then very, very slowly come up. We're just at that point now where we probably might feel that our hips are feeling like they need a little bit of release. So let's come into windscreen wipers, put our feet like that, and just slowly, legs side to side. Lovely. Slowly, side to side. Nice. And then we're going to come into a cross-legged seated position. If you're going to curve forward, lift up your hips and then you don't round. Okay, so we're just going to come into a nice seated twist. So on the inhale, lengthen, and on the exhale, twist above the waist, take your hand to the opposite knee and the other one behind you, and keep that lengthening in the spine. You can keep twisting as long as you inhale to lengthen and exhale, twist. And then sort of stay in a sort of slightly come back on your twist, okay? And then place your opposite hand over the top, and then arch your back on the exhale, really round as if you're coming into a cat position. Really round, and really push your spine through your shoulders. If it feels uncomfortable, get yourself right to the centre at the front of your mat so your heart's facing forward. And then nice big inhale, interlace the fingers behind the heart back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up the chest, chin parallel to the floor, and feel that deep stretch. And then release. Okay, well done everybody. You've done some good work there. So we're going to come back into our tabletop position. If you need a blanket underneath your knees, we'll do that the opposite side. Okay, lovely. Just make sure I'm not going too far. There you go. It's like this, isn't it? Backwards and forwards. Okay, right leg forward. If you need that blanket under your knee, please do. Okay, so here we are coming again into our Anjanasana, which is our low lunge. Again, really press down into that front foot as if you're dragging it back and if you're pulling the front knee forward. Okay, hips level, pushing slightly down towards you, shoulders over hips. Now let's take my arms up on the inhale. Nice big inhale, really palms facing forward, and really pull your palms back a little bit. You feel like opening into the shoulders. And then just slowly exhale, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Come into that nice cactus position and open up the chest, but don't pop your belly forward, tuck in your lower ribs. Lovely. Perfect. Lovely. And now we're going to come into our pigeon. Remember, you've got your alternative pigeon. This one with the strap around your bottom leg, okay? Okay, the alternative pigeon is this foot, which is on the right side of the mat for me, is going to come over to the left side of the mat. Okay, I'm going to slowly make sure my hips are lowering and they're level with each other, my back leg is straight. You can put a block underneath that hip there. Okay, you can do a nice proud pigeon, push your chest through, or slowly lower down. And then really focus on the sensations that are going on here as you move into this deep stretch. There should be no pins and needles or pain in the knees, so do it on your back if that feels better for you. And really consider and allow and notice what's going on right here, right now. So you're practicing this somatic awareness, which is so important. Somatic awareness is stuff that has been developed within the work of well-being, such as PTSD and trauma and things like that. Getting people out of your head and into your body is so good. And also your body is where you trap your emotions, so we're trying to release and gently and safely release them. But obviously there are warnings to do with that, so if you ever feel triggered, try to come back to your breath, that focus, and try to constantly come back to an awareness of the sensations of where you are in terms of on the floor. So whatever is holding and supporting you, focus on that and the power in your legs. So important. This is all stuff that's been done by Peter Levine. Very good man. Very good man. Okay, and then we're just going to work into our deer now. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of leaning out. Way. Oh. So as I bring my back knee towards my front heel, I'm trying to create a straight line here and a straight line here. My feet flexed, so I don't lean out to the side, just get my block here. Okay, and just push onto my block a little bit so my shoulders are above my hips, so I'm not collapsing. If you want to get that deep hip rotation into the back leg, very gently lift that back knee, and then slowly lower. Isn't it amazing how cranky it feels? Very cranky indeed. Mine's very cranky. Warm weather, less synovial fluid in the joints. Got to keep drinking plenty of water just to keep yourself topped up so you're lubricated. WD-40. So focus on that sensing, the experiencing and the feeling. I can feel my hips on the floor, I can feel my front foot on the floor, I feel the differing weight of pressure on that back foot, and the gentle lifting of that back knee, and really working into that hip joint. So then we're going to lean out, aren't we, and we're going to come into our double pigeon. Block at the front, leaning out, way, swinging it forward and placing, this front shin is straight. I'm trying to double pigeon is not the same as lotus position because your legs are like that, but you are trying to keep you stack your shins on top of each other like two pieces of wood. The easier version, you just do what's available to you at the time, depending on how you feel. Okay, yoga is not a competition. It may look like it is a bit of a sport with some people, but you've got to let go of destination addiction. That's the stuff I've been doing in our mindfulness. It's not about the end product, it's what you learn on the way down. Okay, and then you just let go, self-acceptance, and then just gently fold. With a flat back leading with your heart until you get into that deep stretch in the outer hip. I get so much from deep stretches like this, very gentle. It's much more relaxing for an evening as well, and you get a better night's sleep too, because what it does is it takes you right out of your, takes you into your rest, digest and relaxation. Already my tummy's rumbling. When your tummy's rumbling when you're doing yoga or mindfulness, it means that your stress response is turning off. Because rest, digest and repair is when your stress response is switched off. So the biggest compliment you could ever give me in my yoga class is a rumbling tummy. Chest forward. And then let's come into our windscreen. Oof, because it's a little bit cranky, isn't it? Let's come into our windscreen. Place feet at the edge of the mat. And then just go. Oof. Just backwards and forwards until that feels nice, until you get that. Just focus on the shifting sensation in your feet and your hips as you move from side to side. Nice. It's a nice hip open. It really works on the psoas muscle, which is your fight or flight muscle as well. Just releases that wound upness that happens when you're stressed. Okay, and then come back to centre, and then we're going to cross our legs in the opposite direction this time, if you can remember which way it is. Okay, nice big inhale. exhale, twist. And you can keep twisting as long as you inhale to lengthen and exhale, twist. Good for the digestion, this. It's not detoxifying, just good for the digestion. And then inhale to centre, and then just come back, just cross your hand over the top as you come back to centre. Nice big inhale, and then exhale, round, really round, and push your spine in between, through your shoulder blades. It's a very relaxing class today, I hope it is for you lot, I hope. And then inhale to lengthen. Oh, nice. Oh. And then we'll just do a little bit of cat's tail stretch. Just come on the floor, in the front of the floor, and then we'll be getting ready for Shavasana, because believe it or not, it'll soon be time. Just come into the floor, just come into a gentle cat stretch. So, my left leg is straight, and I'm going to come onto the floor. If you want to make it into a much more restorative pose, if your belly, you've not got no problems with your belly, you can place a rolled up bolster in between your belly, so you get a little bit of massaging there of the internal organs. So this is called cat's tail, but what I'm doing is I'm doing a half frog, Bakasana. Oh, I can't remember the name of it in Sanskrit. So what I'm doing is my leg, I'm trying to make a 90-degree angle with my leg. Okay, and you can just stretch it out here, and you can place your forearms in a kind of version of what we did earlier, which was Sphinx. Now some people go even further with this one. That's up to you. So what they do is they grab this tail. So they grab it like that. But you don't have to do it, because you can't reach it, don't matter. And then just relax a little bit in this stretch. So this is a yin yoga pose. So you get a little bit of a hip opener. It's much easier than doing frog with both legs, I tell thee. And just focus on the opening of the hip and the chest, laid on the floor, and the sensation of that. And then just release and do it the opposite side. Just straighten out that leg. Oof. You think it doesn't do anything, but once you straighten it out, you certainly notice. And then make a 90-degree angle. Pull your knee up so it's in line with your hip, and then stretch, and then relax, and come into your little cat tail, half froggy, or whatever you want to call it. Different names in yoga. So many different people have developed it and renamed things and put copyrights on things, on yoga moves. I think Bikram tried to do it, but he wasn't allowed. Good, really. And this is quite a relaxing pose. You might feel quite calm now as your body starts to settle into this posture, and feel the body getting nice and heavy, and just focus on the sensation. Okay, so we're going to finish now and go into Shavasana. So if you want to lie in your front in crocodile, and that feels nice for you, make a pillow with your hands. Or if you want to lie on your back, please lie on your back and do whatever feels comfortable for you. And I'm going to hold the space for this and come a little bit closer. So I want you to spend some time wiggling around to get yourself into that perfect position, because we're going to do a very long guided body scan today. So this has been, we've done about 40 minutes practice, but with a good 20 minutes guided body scan. So I'm just going to come forward, and I will get some blocks. And you spend some time with your blankets and as many pillows as you want, and your bolsters. And we're going to do a nice mindful body scan, applying a curiosity and a warm-hearted attention to each part of the body. And just to focus very somatically on any sensations that you are feeling. So I want you to stay in touch with what you need to do moment by moment. Try to drop really down into the body and focus on the physical sensations as much as you can. So I want you to find a comfortable position resting on your back or on your front, whichever feels better for you. Okay, whichever feels better for you. And with your hands about 6 inches from your sides and your feet shoulder width apart. And if you want to, alternatively, you can place your hands on your heart, on top of each other, to bring a loving, connected presence to your body throughout. And this is something we do a lot in our mindfulness practice. And just try to feel the warmth and the gentle touch of your hands. And take 3 deep, slow, relaxing breaths. And really let everything go on the exhale as you breathe out. And if you want to return your arms to your side, that feels good at any point, or keep them there, or on your belly, or anywhere else. Do what feels right for you, right here, right now. And bring your awareness down to the toes of your left foot. And begin to notice if there's any sensations in your toes. Are your toes warm, or cool, or dry, or moist? Or just feel the sensation, whether ease or discomfort. Or perhaps nothing at all. Just allow the sensations to be as they are. There's no right or wrong way to practice this awareness. And then move to the sole of your left foot. Can you detect sensations here? Your feet have such a small surface, but they work so hard for you, keeping you upright all day. So show some tender-hearted appreciation for what that foot does for you. Especially if there's any discomfort there in any way. You know, sense your whole foot, and if your whole foot feels comfortable, you can also extend gratitude, even if that's discomforting in that place as well too. You can try to imagine, if you want to soften it. Imagine that it's wrapped in a warm, fluffy towel. And you can validate any discomfort that you feel here, such as, there's a little discomfort here. Say it inside of your mind. And gradually move your attention up your leg, one part at a time, noticing whatever body sensations are present, and send appreciation if that part feels fine. Send compassion if there's any discomfort. Just still move slowly through the body, to your ankle, to your shin, to your calf and your knee. And when you notice that your mind wanders, as it will, just return to the sensations in the part of the body that you are attending to. You might want to wish some kind words of compassion, such as, may my knees be at ease, may they be well. And then return your attention to the simple sensations. Allow this entire process to be exploratory, even playful. Gently working your way through your body, moving on to your thigh, your hip. If you feel uneasy or judgmental about a particular part of your body, try putting a hand over your heart and gently breathing. Imagining that kindness and compassion are flowing through your fingers into your body. Or if you feel at ease, offer an inner smile of appreciation if that feels right to you. Now bring a loving awareness to the entirety of your left leg, making room for whatever you may be sensing or feeling. Moving on to the right leg, to your right toes, the right sole of your foot, the whole of your right foot, the ankle, sensing any sensations in the shin and the calf, and a curious awareness of the knee and the right leg. And do feel free to skip any part of the body if too much physical or emotional discomfort arises. Now move on to your thigh on the right side, and your hip, and your entire right leg, focusing on any sensations. And now bring your awareness, your curiosity to the pelvic area, the strong bones that support the legs and also the soft tissues there. Perhaps feeling your hips on the floor, large muscles that help you climb stairs and also allow you to sit comfortably. And now your lower back. A lot of stress is stored here. If you notice any discomfort or tension, you might imagine your muscles relaxing and melting with tenderness. And do feel free to shift at any moment. If you want to adjust, just do it slowly and with mindful attention of sensation. Move on to your upper back. And now moving your attention to your front body, to your abdomen. Your abdomen is very complicated, with many organs and body functions. Perhaps send some gratitude to this part of the body. And if you have some judgments here, see if you can say some kindness and some lovely words of acceptance. Then move up to your chest, the centre of your breathing. Also, your heart centre. This is the place of love and compassion. If you can, try to infuse your chest with awareness, appreciation and acceptance. Perhaps put a gentle hand on the centre of your chest, allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that you feel right here, right now. Continue to incline your awareness toward your body with the same quality of warmth you might have towards a young child. Feeling the sensations in your left shoulder, your left upper arm, and left elbow. Bring a tender awareness to each part of the body, such as your left lower arm, your wrist and your hand and fingers. And now scan your whole left arm and hand with loving and compassionate awareness. And moving to the right side, feel your right shoulder, your right upper arm, elbow, lower arm, and then your wrist. Feel into the hand, the fingers, and the whole of the right arm and the hand. And now proceed with awareness toward the head, beginning with the neck. Just remember how important your neck is in supporting your head throughout the day, how it's a conduit for blood to the brain and air to the body. And offer appreciation and kindness to your neck, either mentally. If your neck feels good, you might want to place a compassionate touch there. Finally move onto your head and begin with the back of the head, the sensations there. Notice the hard surface that protects your brain. And if you like, a gentle touch to the back of the head with your hand, or simply touching it with loving awareness to show your appreciation. Finally, move onto your head and beginning with the back of the head. Sensitive organs as well now of the ears. And tell us so much about this world. If you're glad that you have that capacity to hear, allow appreciation to arise in your heart. Perhaps put a hand over your heart and give yourself some compassion. And then offer the same loving or compassionate awareness to other organs of perception that allow you to appreciate this beautiful world. Your eyes, your nose, and your lips. Don't forget to recognise the cheeks, the jaw, and the chin, for they help you to smile and speak and eat. And finally, be aware of your forehead, the crown of your head, and underneath your brain. Your tender brain is comprised of billions of nerves communicating with each other 24/7. And if you like, say thank you on behalf of all the hard work your brain does to make sense of this marvellous world. And when you've finished giving kind and compassionate attention to the whole of your body, try to offer your body a final shower from head to toe of appreciation and compassion and respect. And then just let go of all focus and awareness and allow everything to come into your senses. Just let go. Just be. And then become aware of the ground, your body held and supported. Become aware of sounds. Become aware of the cool air coming through your nostrils. Become aware of all sensations in your gums, your teeth and your tongue. And even if your eyes are closed, be aware of the senses of your eyes. Come into an awareness of your body lying on the floor and start to give your toes and fingers a little wiggle. If you want to stay where you are for a few more moments, please do. But try to reflect, if you can, on what this meditation was like for you. What did you notice? Were you able to have a compassion for all parts of your body, or did you judge them and feel uncomfortable? Try not to criticise yourself if you can. And try to wander through any kind of meditation with an open-hearted curiosity. It's so easy to feel perhaps bored or frustrated. It's so important that we spend some time to linger over our bodies. Sometimes we find it very, very hard to be at home in our bodies. But the more that you spend inside of the home of who you are, the more that you're able to practice self-care and prevent burnout and fatigue. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. Mindfulness soon, our next one, and then we'll be back to yoga. Namaste.